Did Elvis ever sing any particular songs to you, like maybe in private at home in Graceland, or?
He sang a lot of gospel songs on the organ, and he would cut up on there, and he loved playing. He had this electronic organ with a lot of different sounds in it, and he spent many a night in there playing on that. But we did sing Since I Met You, Baby, and I loved singing. I had taken vocal lessons when I was younger, but I was too shy about it, so I just let it be a childhood passion. But I remember sitting in bed and singing that song, and another evening he had his cousins come up and join us, and a song Way Down. He had more fun with that, pointing to each one of us and wanting us to hit his bass singer J.D. Sumner's notes. He would point to us, and he was really having a great time.
Do you have a special favorite Elvis song, or two or three, or?
Oh gosh, there's so many. I don't feel anyone can say, oh, this is my favorite. We all love Memories. I love so many of his gospel songs. I loved Kentucky Rain. One of my favorites was Trying to Get to You. I don't know why. I just loved it, and I wrote about it in my book. But
and I understand that Elvis loved to sing Unchained Melody, and he had you in mind when he was singing it.
Well, it was such a beautiful song, and he would dedicate it different nights to his dad, his daughter, and me, and it just cut right through to my soul. And just to hear him, I was usually sitting behind a sound man on stage, and to have that view of him that close and see every look on his face or every mannerism, and was an amazing, amazing time.
Ginger, on August 6th, 1977, 10 days before Elvis left us, he wrote the following to you. I read it in your book. God gave me to you. He gave you to me. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, he had actually come to my mother's house to look at some shrubbery that he had put in, some landscaping, and he was going to have a pool put in, and my mother's home paid for, and so he stopped by, and it was a wonderful late afternoon. He sang at the piano in our home, and at one point he wanted to go back into my sister Rosemary's bedroom, and we sat back there, and he was so into Eastern philosophy and numerology, and he wrote a lot of things on numerology on some papers in my sister's room, and I brought out some pageant photos of mine. He was looking at them, and he suddenly just took one of them and flipped it over and wrote that on the back side, and it's one of my dearest treasured memories.
When I saw that, because you have a photo of that, his actual printing of that in your book.
Yes.
Very touching. I mean, it put tears in my eyes when I saw that.
Well, Ron, Elvis was always saying from the moment we got engaged, God will come through and tell me when the time is right. And he was so on a spiritual search, and it was one of the things that I found so intriguing with him. And I thought was wonderful that he wanted to expand his knowledge, and he was one of the brightest men I've ever known. When we were on tour, sometimes he'd have somebody hold a dictionary, and he'd try to spell the word and say its meaning. He was always thirsty for knowledge.
A very special 9 months of your life, I'm sure that you will never, ever forget that was
never.
spent with Elvis, and what's that old saying? It's not the quantity, but rather the quality.
Exactly.
And
well, we packed a lot into those 9 months, that's for sure.
I was going to say, you guys experienced more in that 9 months than most of us will in a lifetime.
Well, he was such a wonderful human being. I thought that he should be remembered so much for his beautiful music and his charitable contributions and his deep concern for so many others and his huge generosity. He had one of the biggest hearts I've ever known.
I just love the way you take the reader step by step through those, that whole time period. I felt like I was there with you. And it's an incredible book. The book is called Elvis and Ginger, Elvis Presley's Fiancé and Last Love. I understand it is now on the New York Times bestseller list. Is that correct?
Yes, I was so excited. It's number 14 this week.
Congratulations, Ginger.
Thank you so much, Ron.
I'm very proud of you. I'm very happy for you. Now, if I were to say, Ginger, what will you remember and keep in your heart forever about Elvis? What would you tell me?
Wow. Quite a few things. His smile, his laugh, his brilliance, his generosity. He was human and a phenomenal individual, and he'll always have a huge special place in my heart.
In your book, in addition to what Elvis wrote on the back of that photo about God gave me to you and he gave you to me, you also
Yeah.
published a copy of a poem that you wrote.
Yeah. Yeah.
which after Elvis left us, you wrote. And I'm telling you, if that doesn't put tears in everybody's eyes, nothing will. That was very touching and emotional, and I could tell that was straight from your heart.
Definitely was, and I think because our time together was so brief, Elvis had consumed my whole world, and to enter into his life and be pursued by him, and magical times, happy times, sad times. It was just a phenomenal experience, and he was such a unique individual, and as I said, a big thank you to you for all the years you've loved and supported Elvis so strongly, and that's fantastic.
I always tell my listeners that doing the Elvis and Friends show, it's like the beat in my heart, so to speak, and I think you could appreciate that, although you don't do a show, but your relationship with Elvis and how you felt about that and how special that was and is to you.
It was hard for me when you see negative, his image being blasted away at, and because of who he was and the power of his celebrity, and as difficult as it was for me to sit back, as I said, I didn't want to lose time with my son.
Right.
I went to all those baseball games and soccer games, and so the minute he went away to college, it feels good to have my truth and what I was eyewitness to his last months.
The book is absolutely wonderful. And if I may, I just wanted to say one more thing before I let you go, Ginger. I always had a tremendous amount of respect for you. For 37 years, there's been a lot of people that were around Elvis that literally worked the circuit. I mean, they hooked up with Elvis imitators, they made the conventions, they did this, they did that. But you moved on with your life. I mean, you pursued a career, as an actress, a model, yet keeping Elvis, the love for Elvis in your heart forever. You got married, you had a son, life went on.
And it's funny because things fell in my lap. It wasn't that I had a goal to be an actress or a singer. As I said, I was shy about singing. But, I made some choices, which I wrote about. Some, a film that I did that was loosely based Elvis character, which wasn't supposed to be at the time. I signed on, but being naive and look back and you wish you hadn't done certain things. But going forward in my life, he'll always be remembered, and just want the fans to know that, there's a lot of this portrayal and why negative things are pulled out or speculated and lied about. I've never understood how people could do this. It was unfair to do to him, and he certainly never deserved that.
But I love the book, and I wish you well with it. I just got to tell you, you are as beautiful today as you were when you were that 20-year-old chick that was with...
Oh, God bless you. Thank you.
You Alden sisters, there must be something in the water in Memphis or something. Honest to God.
Well, I certainly appreciate that.
Ginger, I appreciate you taking time to talk with us. I wish you the best of everything. God bless you. And if and when you guys make it to Philly, you and your sisters, you and Rosemary, we'll show you a great time.
Oh, thank you, Rockin' Ron.
Okay, Ginger, have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.